Hello, and welcome to Hyperion Solutions 2020. My name is Wayne Van Sluys,
And my name is Opal Alapat, and today we're going to talk to you about Oracle Analytics data visualization in an EPM world. interRel has been working with Oracle EPM and Analytics technologies since 1997. We are the proud 5-time winner of Oracle's BI and EPM Partner of the Year Award, and we have 6 Oracle Aces on staff, including directors like Wayne and myself. And interRel is known for a mantra of education. We want to leave the world a smarter place than we left it. So if you want to know more about EPM and analytic solutions, feel free to access one of our many free resources, our weekly webcasts, our virtual conferences, our YouTube channel with its Play It Forward videos, and our finance website where we've been posting the latest finance news since we all went into quarantine. One of the coolest modern ways of reporting data is through data visualization software. This technology will help you report and process your rapidly changing data through these uncertain times. Data visualization is offered in a bunch of competing technologies, including Oracle. But within Oracle, data visualization is offered in multiple flavors and platforms, so customers of each can sample this awesome new way of consuming data. So let's walk through what data visualization options exist on the EPM side and which ones you can find on the analytics side. On the EPM side, it's important to understand how data visualization software connects to EPM. When we talk about connecting to EPM Cloud business processes like planning or financial close and consolidation, we are really talking about connecting to Essbase, which is the primary data store for these applications. Essbase is often referred to as cubes, plan types, or databases. Cubes are groupings of related dimensions or hierarchies that define and organize the data stored within them. The cubes may include calculations for variances and ratios. The cubes may also include interfaces to meet business needs, such as revenue and expense planning, balance sheet planning, and reporting and analysis. Data visualization software can be connected to Essbase in a number of ways, and we will get to that in a second.
So within the world of Oracle Analytics data visualization, we're talking about a world of kind of self-service. We're able to connect with a lot of different data sources on the backside to start doing that data exploration, and then from exploration get into explanation or data storytelling. Oracle Analytics offers a variety of ways in which to enrich that data. So we have the data flows, which allow us to mash up data and create new data sets. We also have the machine learning and artificial intelligence components to help enrich and extend the data through forecast or clustering and a variety of other advanced analytics. Also, data viz within Oracle Analytics has an extensive library of visualizations, well over 39 different types of visualizations. We should note, though, that it is not included with the Oracle EPM subscription. It is separate. Some of the benefits of data visualization is that it's a much more vivid way in which to present data. We're no longer just sending out spreadsheets to upper management. We're allowing people to view this data in many different formats and allowing them to take that and move towards actionable insights, where we're asking someone to do something with the information, either ask a deeper question or to take action. And the most central point of it is that we're basically trying to tell a story with our data.
Oracle EPM Cloud comes with its own visualizations called dashboards. These dashboards are more of a guided visualization through the key business data related to the business process, like planning and financial consolidation and close. They're created by administrators or interactive users, and then they're assigned to end users. The users, however, do have the ability to chart, analyze with drill down within the cube, and comment on the data. So let's go ahead and start this video demo. For example, right here, we see an expense forecast dashboard, which comes with the financials module within planning. You can change the global point of view of the dashboard and refresh the charts and data. Specific charts or forms on the dashboard may have a local point of view, as well as shown in the lower right chart. You can also hover over a specific chart for more specific information and double click on chart segments to drill down into more detail. The legend itself is also active to drill down into or drill back up into the original content. And actions are available in individual charts to refresh and maximize the chart for closer analysis. Various options are also available on each chart to change the chart type or the layout of the chart. And something to note, we're watching a user go through and make changes here, but the changes made by the user are only persistent in the current session within the dashboard. They're not permanent for everyone's view of the dashboard. Dashboards are simple to build. In the dashboard designer, the content is selected from the designer palette on the left and basically just dragged and dropped into the canvas on the right. So let's go ahead and watch a demo on that. There are actually two versions of dashboards available to EPM Cloud customers today. We're showing Dashboard 1.0. And in Dashboard 1.0, content may include forms, a variety of chart types, external artifacts, which might be comments or a web URL. We will talk about Dashboards 2.0 in a few slides. So this dashboard is a revenue forecast dashboard, and it is titled as such, which we just put into the title name. There are global dashboard settings that we can apply, such as the fixed or flexible layout and the option to assign global business rules to the dashboard. So first, what I'm going to do is I am going to add a child chart to the canvas, which occupies the entire canvas by default. Now, if you don't know what a tile chart is, this allows you to show like one number, for a particular metric. Then I'm going to go into the revenue form folder and drag in the revenue by category form onto the canvas. And notice as I drag it to the bottom of the screen, I will see a plus sign appear next to the form name to ensure it drops successfully before the underneath the tile chart. And then finally, I'm going to add a third chart type, which is a donut chart, to the left of the revenue by category form. And again, I'm looking for that plus sign to ensure successful drop on the canvas. Next, I'll adjust the settings of the chart. First, the tile chart is adjusted to include a form as its data source. I'm going to use the revenue summary form as the source. I will also reduce the height percent of the chart to 20% of the canvas so I can determine how much real estate it's taking. And then I'll also scale the data values to millions so it's easier to read. For the donut chart, I'll change the data source to be the same as the form to the right, which is the revenue by category form. And for the revenue by category form itself, I will simply reduce the width percent of the form by 10%. And notice how that allows the donut chart to pop out a little bit more. So I can select the runtime button at any time to view the dashboard as the users would view it. And when forms or grids are included on the dashboard in 1.0, users will have all actions available to them as if they were opening up the individual form, which means that they can save data back to the form and they can also run business rules. And if there are any further adjustments needed to the dashboard layout and content, you can also toggle back to the designer mode to further refine and fine-tune that dashboard. And then don't forget, you also need to periodically save the dashboard and assign users access to the dashboard so that they can see it. Now, just last month, talking about September 2020, Oracle released a major update to EPM Cloud dashboards. And this release provides better and more powerful visualizations that will allow the EPM Cloud platform to do more and see data differently. Some notable new visualizations in this release include rain gauges, pyramids, spark charts, and geomaps. In addition, the construct of these dashboards are no longer limited to just forms, custom text, and web pages. In this release, you can actually go against any cube within your current application. And in the future, Oracle hopes to expand this to go against any cube in your EPM Cloud environment. Now, there are some limitations to this particular release. For instance, because it was just released, it's a 1.0, so you will not be able to do things like write back. But it's pretty cool. I highly recommend you play with it. There's a lot of interesting features in this new release.
So then why would an EPM customer need DV? I think the first answer was that it's a self-service visualization and analysis. Up until this 2.0 release, we had a whole lot more charting options. So there are some capabilities that are still in the DV side that I do not yet see in the EPM dashboards. We get some of the new modern BI features, and it's user-driven to add external data sets. So my DV project could contain sources beyond just an EPM connection. So from the world of DV and EPM connections right now, we had about 4 different ways. We could mirror that cube in Essbase and then connect DV to Essbase. That was pre any connectors being available, and it still may be an option for some people to explore. We can mirror those EPM cubes in Essbase and model in the RPD. So that's a second, still using mirrored cubes. And then I think last year or so, we were able to connect the EPM data sources through the RPD. And this uses that ADM driver. And with this summer, we saw the newest connectivity, the direct connectivity from the DV project into EPM. And we'll cover both the last two in the slides to come. So here's just a quick view of a project that was done against EPM planning, the Vision app, via the RPD. And the nice thing about the DV projects are that we have the concept of a presentation mode, which is what we're seeing now. And these projects become much like a PowerPoint slide. So the idea is that you create that deck for, say, a board meeting or a presentation. You don't have to copy and paste out into PowerPoint, and the data is active, it's live, and it's interactive. So we can flip through a story to tell what's going on within our products, our regions, whatever that the nature of the data is. Oops. So some of the design considerations with EPM are just the nature of how the cubes behave. Realize that we're taking advantage of some of these consolidation operations. We have the ragged structures within the EPM outline. The big one is that years and periods are in 2 separate dimensions. And in some cases, these variance calcs could reside in many different places within the outline. Also note that alternative hierarchies come into play when we're working with the EPM in the DV projects. And we also get some of that right-click member selection and drill and keep only. When you're bringing in the DV or the EPM information into the RPD or even into DV as a direct connection, we have a whole lot of extra columns that come along as the metadata for the cube or the application. Most notably the DIM name, so we see the year and name. We have the default, which would be the alias, the year default. And then if you get into some of the other language aliases, those will show up as well. On a direct connection, we get all of the generation numbers. In the RPD connection, we have a dimension gen number. Also note that there's the leaf indicator, and these become helpful for creating and setting filters. So I blogged about this back in November, or excuse me, March of this year, but there's two different concepts of connecting and creating that physical or the subject area for the user. So be aware of the implications and what happens. I would recommend creating an individual subject area per business model instead of doing creating from a snowflake. This gives you the ability to segregate and keep your measures and the members of a dimension separate for filtering and access. The aliases, again, consider the aliases. This is from the modeling in the RPD level. Consider the aliases that you want, because the rest of them will, if you do not delete them out of the business model, they come along and it gets kind of long in the list for you to select for members. So you can see the Chinese and the Danish and the Dutch and Finnish and French and all of the other ones. Pick the aliases that you need. One thing to note is that in the RPD, everything is considered parent-child. There is no idea of a hierarchy that you can follow down from top to bottom from the user and experience as well as from just navigation. It's going to be parent-child, so it makes that metadata management cleaner if the hierarchy may change in depth. So what is it you have to do when you get, and this is, again, this is a connection through the RPD for a subject area, and the same concept holds true for the other in DV, but we'll just show you. One thing to note is that we have to set a filter, a point of view on every one of our members. So if I just bring in the data element, I can't see anything until I create this point of view. So what's going to happen is we're going to start bringing elements into the filter across the top. And what we'll see is that there is a default that everything is limited by the other members. So we need to start turning that off in order to get the values to come back to us for selecting a filter value. So again, set the filter, come in, limit values by none. There is a Cloud Customer Connect vote out there right now, an enhancement request that this be defaulted to none instead of all. So if you have an opportunity to get out on Cloud Customer Connect, you can see why this would be something worth having set. Again, we're setting all our filters so that the point of view will start to populate and then also the display. So in this case, I'm starting to build a view to look at the, again, FY16, my working version, my plan, my total department, or sales. And I'm going to start looking at my data by product. And finally, I'm going to need to set an account dimension. And here I'm going to be looking for revenue. One thing to consider when you're moving into the world of DV across EPM is that save your users some setup time and create some templates that they can work off of as a starting point, so that all these top filters are set for the first time, and then it makes it easier for them to come in and run an analysis. So here we have now the point of view set, and we have our canvas set to the dimensions and values that we're looking for. And within now here, we'll again remember that idea of the leaf indicator. We want to set so that we're looking at just the level zeros at this case, instead of having the top of the hierarchy or all of any of the parents. So again, some of the important notes, especially with the RPD side, is that use that gen number as a filter and the leaf indicator. The other part is that those alternate hierarchies show up, so you may need to filter them out. Again, because of the way it brings in all the metadata, this is where we're talking about setting filters for the generation so that you don't end up totaling and then getting another total on top of that. The one part that I catch myself and is that I need to make sure that the data then is available to other people. So granting the security on that role. So the summer of 2020, we got a direct connect. Now the direct connect is part of that enhanced modeling, data preparation, and it was the 5.6 release of OAC. This piece included some enhancements to the RPD side, but mostly to the EPM Cloud connection. And this EPM Cloud connection is relatively simple to set up. You just need an ID that can go into the EPM Cloud. You have your URL and you're off and running. You then get to pick which plan type, and we have connectivity to the planning cloud, the financial close cloud, and tax reporting. I think there's one more on the roadmap, and that's the PCM, I think. With the direct connect, there is no modeling required, no RPD required. All the connections are live. The enhanced metadata, you get a column for each generation, a member name, aliases, and other aliases. So here I've gone and already done the full setup of the filters like we did before, but now we're on a direct connection to the planning. You can see the little symbol at the upper left corner there is the EPM Cloud connection. We've got, again, the ability to filter within. We've already set everything to none. Now the part that becomes where we get all this extra metadata, you can start to see right here in the left side, we have all those extra aliases. Currently, there's no way to select the alias that you'd like to come into the direct connection. So you're going to see them all. You will see all the generation numbers for that hierarchy, that dimension. This can be an issue where if it's ragged, you're going to end up with empties on some branches of a dimension. So as you can see, again, all of the extra aliases came along into the import of this metadata to DV on a live connection. There's your leaf indicator, and then of course the primary dimension member name. And then we have, of course, the metadata for the member of the measures intersection. The nice thing about DV is that I'm able to quickly change my chart type with minimal effort. I can move things around, setting it to a color instead of to just a category on the pie chart. I can duplicate this visualization and within this then go and make use of the natural language generation that became available for Oracle Analytics Cloud, where it will tell me about my data rather than me having to interpret it myself. And this is tied to your dimension and your measure. So now we have something that is able to interpret and present to us in written English.
Hey,
so,
Wayne, we actually
yes.
have a question related to that direct connect.
Okay.
The question is, does the direct connection to EPM Cloud cause a performance impact on the EPM application? Is that something to consider when setting it up? And how can you also tell how many sessions are connected this way? And is there a way to limit it?
That is a good question. I do not know if it has an impact on the EPM side. It is pulling a query. It's a rather chatty query. in that it has to bring back data at many different levels of intersection versus, say, a smart view retrieve. Limiting the sessions, I don't believe there is a capability to do that. On the RPD side, there is a way to limit the number of open pools to the source, but I do not believe there is one in the direct connection. So, in conclusion, yes, we do have direct connection. The EPM Cloud does have guided visualizations for dashboards that Opal showed, and they are improving. We have seen the Dashboard 2.0 extend a lot of that capability. The self-service against DV is using DV against EPM is possible. And again, the neat thing about this with DataViz is that I could make multiple canvases or within the project and have different data on each of those canvases, or even combine with the data being presented in a way that we can use links between and going from one analysis to another, using some filtering and making it fully interactive that way, if there's a shared dimension that matches. The one thing that is a little bit different for most folks is that EPM Cube looks a little bit more relational in DV than it does, say, the way you're used to working with it. But the neat thing about it is we've got two solutions now coming together, and it creates a great opportunity for users to drive deeper insights, create actionable intelligence, and give the data to the people where they need it, when they need it, and how they need it. But as we said earlier, there are two different licenses here. So one for DV and one for EPM Cloud. So last time we did this, Opal, it took us a little longer.
It did. I guess it's the we have a lack of questions. Maybe everything is perfectly clear to everyone. If not, please go ahead and drop something in the chat. I will tell you that I did work on the beta for Dashboards 2.0 in EPM. So if you have any questions about that, happy to answer them. The focus of this is really the data visualization side, but happy to tell you both sides of it. And we have another question. What is the URL needed to make the direct connection?
So it is the connection to your EPM Cloud, and at the end of that slash, the first part to Oracle, whatever, .oracle.com slash, and then it's your identity domain. So when you're doing the setup and connection, it tells you what you need to show in what parts. So
the next question is, do the direct connections work with pixel perfect reports?
No. But you can create a data set from you can create a data set in DV, and then in pixel perfect reporting, you can consume a DV data set. So you cannot directly connect from the data model stored section in pixel perfect reporting to EPM Cloud, but you can kind of go around it and create a data set like we just did, and then move from there.
We have no more questions in the chat. Let's leave it open for another 30 seconds, though. We got a response that connection advice worked perfectly.
Wow, someone just tried it.
Yeah, he just tried it. Great.
This positive reinforcement right away. That's awesome.
That's right.
I am working on a blog to talk through this a little bit more step by step. I'm hoping it should be out this week. So take a look for that coming off of the interRel's blog roll.
In addition, in December, I'm doing a tech cast for the analytics community, previously known as BIWA, and I'll be doing a lot more detail on maybe more from the EPM side than the analytics side, but the EPM take on this direct connection. All right, let's leave it open for 15 more seconds and see if we get any more questions. I like how everyone's staying on. I guess they're looking forward to the next session in this track. Or maybe just the cool intermissions that Wayne and I also worked on.
that or do some of that flashback music, you know?
Yeah, that's right. All right. Well, I think we've answered all the questions. So thank you all. Oh, no, wait, hang on.
Yeah.
Okay. So Bill, who was working on the connection, now asks, do I need to do additional items in the prepare step for the direct connect?
No,
he was talking about.
No, there's very little that you can do on the prepare step for EPM. You pick, once you connect, and you pick the app that you want to connect to, and then you're right into the building of a report or a visual. And if people have questions, you can always send a note to info@interrel.com, and it can be funneled off to either Opal or I if you come up with something after we end here.
Absolutely. All right. And Bill says he's in. Great.
Sweet.
As he live create connections on our webcast. That's great, Bill.
It's live troubleshooting.
That's right. Okay, I think we're going to call it then. So thank you all so much for joining us at this conference and even for our particular session. And I'm sure we'll see you again soon.